What's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe and healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative today. It is time now for the Wednesday edition of the Pandemic Update for Wednesday, August 9th, 2023. We have several active things that are ongoing right now as I am recording this video, meaning we have several places where COVID hospitalizations are starting to rise faster. We have active EMS incidents in part of the Philly metro area right now at a very high level of call volume, including the city of Philadelphia, which yesterday experienced a ton of EMS calls. I'll show you that in a little bit. Let's get through a few news stories first, including India, where India sees the active caseload decline a little bit today. This is good news. 1,539 active cases. 53 new cases were added yesterday, and the death toll was at 531,918. Now moving on to this story. A company that deals with virtual, video conferencing that was really big and took off at the start of the pandemic. Zoom. I think everybody knows what Zoom is. I think a lot of people have used Zoom. Well, who would have thought that a company like Zoom that, provides the means to do virtual, that provides the means to do video conferencing, video calls, would say, guess what? You need to return to the office. Yes, even Zoom is making its staff return back to the office. And in a statement, Zoom said it's now enforcing a structured hybrid approach, meaning that employees who live near an office need to be on site 2 days a week because it's the most effective for the video conferencing service. But meanwhile, they're a company that develops software to make it easier for people to do things virtually, which means at home. And you would think a company that makes things easy to do things through the computer at home, it would be easy to work from home. But apparently not. They want everyone back in the office. Just really a sign of the times. One that doesn't really make much sense to me. And then I thought I would show this to you. This is the Japan COVID positivity. There's Corona heads up saying it may have peaked, but hello, 50% positivity? I mean, half of everyone that was tested for the virus was found to be positive. That's just totally ridiculous. All right, we do have a couple health notes to pass along to you. Dianne Feinstein, the senator. She's 90 or 91 now. Quite frankly, in my opinion, she should be retired. And here's more proof of it. Briefly hospitalized after a fall. I mean, this is, it's sad, but it's almost getting ridiculous. We have Dianne Feinstein. We also have the case of Mitch McConnell. I mean, they're getting up there in age, and they're having a lot of health problems, but yet they're still sitting senators for large populated areas, especially Feinstein. She has quite the populated area that she serves, and it's just really sad to see. Hopefully, eventually, maybe someone will take her place. Hopefully, she decides to step down. I don't know, but it's just really sad to watch. And we do have more health news to report on. This is sad as well. Former President Jimmy Carter's grandson has shared a health update on former President and First Lady. And in that it says he's pretty sick now. As you know, he is in hospice care. So it says he's pretty sick. He still does use his brain. He listens to audiobooks. He's a genius. He's super smart. I love him, Wenzel said. He always wants to be doing something with his mind, so he's trying to keep himself busy, but he is really sick and getting older. So yes, sounds like former President Carter sadly has taken a turn for the worse, and we knew this was coming because he's been in hospice. What's it been, about 4 or 5 months now? So yes, sad to see that President Carter is getting sicker at this time, and prayers for him and prayers for Dianne Feinstein. I really hope they pull through with things, and I hope all eventually works out. But it is what it is. It's a sign of the time. They're getting up there in age. It's life. It does, unfortunately, go this direction. All right, moving on. We need to take a look at air quality. Air quality is not too bad today across the country. Even California has improved. Oregon has improved. You do see some orange in some places. You do see some yellows here. And yes, there's some bad air quality in the Northeast. I mean, it's not terrible. That's actually going to get wiped out tomorrow. There's a pretty potent system in the Midwest that's going to push through and move up to the Northeast. Could actually develop into a coastal storm. If you want to learn more about that, I do have another channel where I talk about weather related stuff. It's at Climate Data Report. All right, moving on here. We do want to take a look at a couple things if we can on Walgreens today. I've been getting some questions why I don't do certain states, and unfortunately, I can't do every state, and there's a reason for that. Some states absolutely provide no data. I was questioned about Mississippi yesterday. Unfortunately, that's one of them. But there is something I can do for you. There's two websites we can look at, and I think we'll look at them tomorrow or Friday. Hubbub World does have the local prevalence, and for a state like Mississippi, I can definitely show you the local prevalence. I tried to use Merdiva. Even Merdiva doesn't have the most up-to-date info on Mississippi, but I can show you hospital data. We'll do that in a little bit. Take a look at Walgreens. National positivity, it just continues to rise. 44.7% versus 41.3%, even with a testing increase. All right, BioBot, we'll get an update on BioBot tomorrow or Friday. As you know, wastewater in all regions, they're rising right now. This wave is clearly taking off. I said the Northeast wouldn't get worse until we head into the fall. I think I'm going to retract some of that statement. New York State is quickly spewing out of control. I'll show you New York State numbers in a little bit. Let's take a look at these wastewater sites, and I was hoping I could show you some of them in Mississippi. The best I could do for that is I can show you this site in Memphis. It's not Mississippi, but I can show you Memphis, Tennessee. It's kind of near Mississippi, and full disclaimer, this site just started. So there was the first reading. Here's the second one. It did drop. Influenza was not detected, and that first reading I was referring to was COVID. RSV, look at this. RSV actually rose on the second sampling. HMPV, not there. Mpox, not there. Norovirus, it actually dropped on the second sampling there. Let's refresh this page if we can, because we do want to take a look at some more wastewater sites. Let's take a look at Iowa. Iowa's another state. I believe these may be, you know what, these may be some new sites on here. I don't recall seeing so many sites in Iowa. No, not new, but Iowa's another one we can't get data from, so let's turn to wastewater. And Coralville, Iowa. Look at this. You had a big rise in July, then it slowed down. Then at the end of July, look at this. July 31st to now August 7th. Big rise going on there. So your COVID levels are definitely rising. Population at this watershed is 23,000. Influenza is not being detected. RSV is not an issue at this time. HMPV, it's low. Mpox, look at this here, not being detected. And norovirus is rising. If you saw my Sunday wastewater update, I think it was Sunday, we noted there have been some areas where norovirus is rising. I'm concerned with what's going on with norovirus at this time, because we are definitely seeing rises. Let's do another one in Iowa, shall we? How about this one? Marshalltown, Iowa. What's the population here? 27,400. COVID's starting to rise a little bit. Influenza, RSV, not an issue. HMPV, earlier in the summer, was an issue. Mpox is not an issue. Norovirus, it did drop for an extended period of time. Now it's showing slight signs of potentially rising again. Let's do one more site. What's another state that we don't usually get good data from? Oh, how about Idaho? We don't talk about Idaho very much, so we should look at Idaho. How about Boise, Idaho? Whoa, okay, first off, 108,556 population here. Look at COVID. COVID is rapidly rising at this time. Yikes, that's not good at all. Influenza, low. RSV is low. HMPV, low. Mpox, not detected. And look here, norovirus, overall, from May through to now, it's been dropping, but then it leveled off. So again, another area where there could potentially start being some norovirus concerns. Alrighty, moving on to some CDC data. CDC wastewater sites, there's an increasing number of moderate to high sites. That is not good to see. Taking a look here at hospitalizations, we'll get an update on these ER visits tomorrow. I suspect New York State is going to continue to have a substantial increase, and I suspect some of these states that are stable, you'll probably start to see more of an increase there as well. All right, nothing in pandemic history today. Variant proportions, EG.5, it dominates in the United States at 17.3%. FL 1.5.1 is at 8.6%. Moving on, we're going to do Hubbub World either tomorrow or Friday because it's very important that we report on some states that we don't have as much data for, because I know I have probably followers in almost every state now, subscribers I should say. Well, no, followers on Twitter too, and I want to be fair. I want to try and report on data for your areas too. All right, New Jersey. There was a drop in hospitalizations today. Full disclaimer, I think that has to do with hospitals reporting. Because when you see New York State in a few minutes, you're going to say, New York State, now New Jersey? Yeah, so 54 versus 70 hospitals reporting, 226 people in the hospital, 9 people in the ventilator, and 27 people in the ICU. Discharges, 30 people have been discharged from the hospital. Now we move on to this, and this also doesn't support the drop in New Jersey as well. Philadelphia, 849 EMS incidents yesterday, and I can report to you, it was not a terribly hot day. It was not humid with high dew points or humidity. It was not a bad air quality day. It was just 849 incidents yesterday, and there's clearly a surge going on. Montgomery County is not doing too bad right now, but I got to show you Chester County. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, there are a lot of incidents in Chester County. You're seeing multiple heart problems, multiple respiratory difficulties. A few moments ago, it's not here anymore, there were like 4 strokes in a row. You're seeing cardiac arrest. There's still 1 stroke there. Cardiac arrest, hypotension. Hey, this is not good. This is telling me that probably not only is Chester County still busy, I bet Philadelphia's probably busy again today. And I saw ambulances today. I had to pull over for an ambulance to start today. It flew past me, which they were going at a high rate of speed. That's never a good thing. And now we come over to New York State. Gonna move myself back to the right. And look at this. New York State, another 993 cases. It's not over 1,000, but the positivity rate's 11.9%. 7-day average is 11.9%. Now we come to this. Yes, hospitalizations. Look at this chart. Big increase over yesterday. If you have been following me on Twitter for a long time, if you've been watching my channel from day one, you know Tuesday. Now I just said Tuesday. I know it's Wednesday, but Tuesdays during a wave is the biggest rise of a week. If we see a big rise again on a Wednesday, you know that's a bad sign. I'm not going to go back here and look at every Tuesday or Wednesday that did that. I mean, I could try and pinpoint that to you, but you know, if there is a second day in a row of a big rise on a Wednesday, that means things are rapidly deteriorating and getting bad in New York State, and that's why I'm now retracting my statement. Not only because of that, because of what I just showed you in Philadelphia, which is my city. I mean, it's really high. Ambulance calls. Yeah, I think it's safe to say, things are getting bad pretty quickly right now. Maybe it's not all COVID. Maybe there's other stuff going around, but we do know EG.5 is on the rise. We do know that other variant, FL 1.5.1, does dominate in New York State right now. So this is not good to see. Let's actually run over the number here. 807 people in the hospital today. 72 people in the ICU. And the ICUs are starting to rise as well. We ended last week with 56 people in the ICU in New York State. So yeah, New York State hospitalizations are rising. Let's take a look at New York City. And we'll look at admissions too. And it's going to refresh like it always does. Let's zoom in here. And you can see New York City. That's New York State. Here's New York City. New York City hospitalizations. Big increase today. Yesterday was 340. Today is 395. The ICUs did drop a little bit to 31. Let's take a look at hospital admissions. They are now rising in New York State. After a brief, a brief period where they were dropping for a little bit. Look at the overall trend. Overall trend is upward. Let's go statewide. And you can see overall trend. It's starting to go up faster now. That's not something we like to see. Yesterday started off the week lower than the previous Tuesday, but look at today. It's continuing to rise. It's higher than any point for the rest of the week last week. That's not good to see. All right, moving on, we have to show you some more bad news. Texas today, after last week having a brief decline, that's not the case anymore. Texas has 11,826 new cases, and that's likely missing a lot of cases. That's 2,268 higher than last week's 9,558. Coming down here, we can see hospitalizations in Texas. They're starting to pick up the pace now. 860 people hospitalized versus 748. And we know that this EG.5 variant, let's go back and take a look at it again, on the national level, it's only at 17.3%. We know things will continue to rise across the country until this becomes the dominating variant at, we'll just say 50%. Until this gets to like 50%. Will it? I don't know, because FL 1.5.1, we know that's rising. We know that already took over in New York State, so that's going to compete with it. The fact we may have both of these variants competing with each other and rising at the same time, that's bad news. This may be a double whammy. So, yes, we're seeing hospitalizations pick up the pace now, not only in Texas, in New York State, and really across the country. The CDC is reporting. I don't have a news story up here for this, but you may have seen, I think I did tweet one. CDC is reporting hospitalization increases nationwide are picking up the pace now. That's not good to see. All right, let's take a look here. This is data from Mississippi. I mean, I can't show you cases or testing. I wish I could. But I'll show you local prevalence tomorrow from Hubbub World or on Friday. I don't know if it's going to be a separate video. It may be within the pandemic update. My schedule's kind of crazy as of lately, which is why we're trying to eliminate doing double video, at least on weekdays. Maybe on weekends we'll still be able to do 2 video days where we do something else, just to get more data out there. Hospitalizations, 30 in Mississippi. ICUs are at 5. Mississippi, land-wise, is a big state. It's not a terribly populated state, but I think at the same time, I mean, it's not the most populated state in the country, but I think at the same time, you're probably missing a ton of hospitalizations and cases. I got a feeling this is a huge undercount. 30, that just seems like such a low number to me. Does it seem like a low number to you? It does to me, and I do want to continue to come up here and show you Puerto Rico. Can we do that today? Here's Puerto Rico. I think it's important that we show that because they also have that FL 1.5 or FL 1.5.1 variant, and we need to see what is going on there. And look at this. The overall projection from April on up to about middle of July was rising hospitalizations. Now it is starting to fall a little bit. That's telling me the majority of this variant is probably really in New York State and could explain why New York State hospitalizations are rising so frequently. They've added 5 new deaths in Puerto Rico, 145 people in the hospital, 12 in the ICU, new cases 1,001. Alrighty, let's do a little bit of an international update. Not much, just a little bit of one. And we'll take a look here. Ooh, I'm already seeing some bad things here. 13% decrease around the world for cases, 59% decrease in deaths. New Zealand cases are still up 6%. South Korea, deaths are down 7%, deaths are down 2%, cases are down 7%. Then we come down here to Australia, where cases are down 60%, deaths are down 83%. India, they're saying cases are up 35%. Israel, cases up 7%. Belgium, cases up 82%. Look at this. Iran, 382% increase in cases. 56% increase in cases in Switzerland. No deaths reported there. And in Thailand, 31% decrease in cases. 71% increase in deaths. That's not good to see. Bulgaria, 55% increase in cases. Indonesia, 95% increase in cases. And we come down here to Norway, 13% increase in cases. Denmark, 39% increase in cases. Poland, 39% increase in cases as well. Alrighty, folks, that does it for today's pandemic update. We will have another pandemic update again tomorrow with more data and news. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. If you know anyone that needs to know this information, maybe they're out there thinking, oh, COVID, that's over with. Well, send them my way, and I will prove to them that COVID is not over. You saw the rising hospitalizations in Texas and New York City. Alrighty, folks, I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, have a great day, everyone, and stay safe.